Now, as we know, the Republicans have been struggling ever since Joe Biden dropped out. They pretty much thought they had this election in the bag. Joe Biden seemed like he was going to deteriorate any day. Trump thought it was going to be a no-brainer. He was easily going to win. All of that instantly changed the minute the Democrats got a little bit of sense and decided to get Biden out of there and introduce somebody younger and much more exciting to people. So since this change, we still are watching as the Republicans are desperately struggling to try and get back up in the polls. And I'll be honest, it's not looking so good for them. It's really not. So if we look here, who's ahead in the national polls? Kamala Harris is now ahead by 3.4 points. Harris is at 47.1%, Trump's at 43.7%. It's very obvious, though, as you can tell, the Republicans are struggling. And their struggle has become even more apparent with some of these recent ads. Now, Trump, actually today, released a new attack ad shitting all over Kamala Harris, calling her a communist, etc. So we're going to go over that, and then we're going to look at a bit of an awkward moment it appears JD Vance may have had when visiting a donut shop. So let's go ahead and see. Maybe this will change our mind, you know? Maybe you're really excited to vote for Kamala Harris, but this ad is going to sway you entirely. Let's watch and find out.
Yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
As President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
Oh my gosh. Pass the Green New Deal? You mean something that 95% of Americans don't know about or give a single fuck about? Wow. Again, this is only appealing to people that are already conservative.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Ban fracking, which she has now gone back on. She has literally said that she is not actually against this any longer, and she has changed her opinion. People are allowed to change their mind.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
No, the mandatory gun buyback program was only for a specific kind of gun. She is not talking about confiscating all guns or making it mandatory that you participate in some kind of a gun buyback program. She wasn't even talking about that. By the way, before we go further, and yes, I am going to be pausing this aggressively because there's so much dumb shit in here. Gun violence is the leading cause of death for children in this fucking country. So for the Republicans to be like, they want to stop guns, it doesn't really resonate that well. Obviously, people have their constitutional rights. However, we don't want mentally insane people who are violent or aggressive accessing potentially deadly weapons. It's really simple. So for all the talk the conservatives give about how, oh, the trans agenda's murdering the kids and all this shit, it's actually guns that are murdering the children. And they don't really give a single fuck about that. In fact, they're trying to scare everybody into thinking that any kind of gun control type of thing is therefore a violation, is therefore gun confiscation. It's bullshit.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
So Harris did campaign at times on abolishing private health insurance in favor of Medicare for all. I admit this is a bad excuse, but she's saying here that she changed her mind. She does not support abolishing private health insurance, and she misheard the question. Kind of a cheap excuse, fine. But again, people are allowed to change their mind. I mean, I know you're looking at a guy who's done just that, but again, they're trying to phrase it and distort it in such a way. In reality, Kamala Harris wants to see less gun violence. Doesn't everybody else? At the end of the day, Kamala Harris wants to make sure that everybody, regardless of income, has access to medical care. I would think everybody else would want that as well.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
You know, the food pyramid, what people
Yes. Yes.
to reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, only a fucking redneck guy with a cowboy hat on, living in a trailer with a giant Confederate flag up and a Trump flag on his porch would watch this ad and get scared when seeing Kamala Harris wants to reduce meat consumption. Well, skippity hee haw! I will eat my raw steak if it kills me. Even though it literally is. And I'm gonna just keep on doing it. Really? This isn't working for anybody, dude. We've listened to Kamala Harris. She talks about policies. She talks about how the middle class is struggling. She talks about how she, with a new administration, can try and make better change, at least offering hope. And what do we have from the conservatives? They want to stop you from eating red meat. I don't even know the full context here, but again, red meat consumption actually, like red meat does actually carry with it significant risks. And if you're actually reducing the consumption of something that's unhealthy in an organic and natural way, I don't see anything wrong with that. Oh, good point. Also, yeah, this is also really fucking embarrassing for the conservatives to put reduce meat consumption. Her vice president is a literal fucking hunter. He loves hunting. So, like, I'm sorry, you're gonna tell me that administration's gonna ban meat? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Oh no! People that are here undocumented that are less likely to commit crime? More likely to pay into social services? And more likely to benefit our entire economy? They're getting some free healthcare? You mean that because somebody didn't go through the citizen test, you're okay just not letting them die a slow, gruesome death on the street? These monstrous Democrats, because somebody just has a green card, they actually don't think that person should die. Wow! Oh man, I can't fathom the horror that must overcome the conservatives everywhere when they think about how terrible it would be if somebody was here undocumented who's benefiting the economy also is able to go to the hospital. What happened to Christian values? One of my favorite Bible verses, Leviticus 19:33 through 34. When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets.
What? They said, what do you think about defunding the police? We need to take a look at the budgets? That's actually true. Defund the police was a stupid fucking slogan, but what it was trying to get at was that the funds need to be reallocated to go towards more meaningful change. That's what defund the police was supposed to mean, although I've already shat on that slogan a bunch of times because optically it's a nightmare. But all she's saying here is there might be budget cuts. Yeah. Why are the police spending so much money on military grade equipment? Talking about like police reform and everything else, that might require budget cuts. And even more so, the fact that they're saying she wants to defund the police when she was just on Biden's administration, when Biden was getting a whole bunch of flack because Biden gave more money to the police. Why? So that the police could be better trained to do community policing and to hopefully reduce police brutality. That is something Biden did. He got heat from Democrats because he wasn't defunding the police. Kamala Harris was the VP. They simultaneously slander Kamala Harris and say that she wants to lock up people, or she locked up a bunch of people for weed offenses and everything else. But she also wants to defund the police? Conservatives can't even get their own schizophrenia straight.
Harris asserted that ICE is perceived as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me? I see no parallel.
I'm not finished.
I see none.
She did not compare ICE to the KKK. She literally said there's a perception. That's an easy one. That's like if somebody said, are you aware that there's a perception that you're really, really aggressive and yell at everybody that comes on here to debate you? Yeah, I'm aware that that perception exists. However, I don't think that perception is correct.
There's a lot of perceptions in the media and in the public that are incorrect about the agency.
But the perception exists, would you agree? Whether or not it's correct. And wouldn't you agree then that if that perception exists, there might need to be some work done to correct the perception.
We need to get radical about what we are doing.
We need to get radical about what we are doing? Okay, yeah, as if that's not just like clever rhetoric. As if Trump hasn't said the same kind of stuff. Kamala Harris, failed, weak, dangerously liberal. Yeah, seriously though, this ad was dangerously cheesy. This ad was dangerously fucking cringe. So we just watched that ad. Now I want to compare that one to the ad that they played at the DNC when it came to Trump.
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. This is the story of Donald Trump. His entire life, Trump has believed he's above the law, that no one would ever dare hold him accountable.
Instantly, they have utilized memes and clever pop culture references to immediately begin a clear and concise takedown of Donald Trump. Law and order, Trump is violating the law. That's the clear-cut path. What the Republicans had for Comrade Kamala was literally just like, guys, she actually wants people to be able to go to the hospital and she cares about the planet. Ah!
He lies. He rips off workers. He sexually abuses women.
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
He cheats in business. He cheated on his wife with a porn star and paid her off so the American people wouldn't find out during an election.
So far, by the way, nothing they've said has been factually incorrect either. It's true that he paid the porn star off to try and hide it from the election. That is all true. The Republican ad, it had constant out-of-context shit or old clips that have long since been clarified on or walked back on. But this is actually clear, and this brings up a legitimate problem with Trump.
But in the criminal justice system, ordinary Americans have had the courage to find him accountable, time and time again.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Donald Trump, guilty on all 34 felony counts.
For the first time in history, we have a convicted felon running for president. And to take on this case, we need a president who has spent her life prosecuting perpetrators like Donald Trump. He tried overturning Georgia's free and fair election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
He's tried to escape any responsibility for instigating the January 6th attack on our Capitol.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you.
And if elected...
Come on, like, even if you're a conservative, I bet even conservatives when watching this are shaking a little bit in their boots, because this is a very good attack ad on Trump. It's excellently done. And it's also true. This has all been demonstrated now by courts. This has now been demonstrated by former Trump staffers. We know that this is true. And you're right, chat. The real problem is that his supporters know that what Donald Trump says is bullshit a lot of the time, but they just don't care.
Trump has promised to overturn laws that would keep him accountable and exact retribution on anyone he considers an enemy, even warning of a bloodbath if he doesn't get his way. So we, the people, have a chance to render our own verdict on Donald Trump. We are the jury he most fears. When we vote this November, we vote for justice, accountability, and the rule of law that keeps America free.
Yeah, their ad is vague. This ad is factual. Exactly. This ad is clear, concise, to the point, and also very entertaining. The Republican ad was just like, she cares about the planet. She once said something that she later actually agreed was wrong, and now she doesn't believe that thing anymore. I'm afraid. That's what the conservative ad felt like compared to this one. So now, when we can compare these two ads, I think it's abundantly clear why the Republicans are continuously slipping further and further behind in the polls. It's because their message is not selling to anybody. They're not offering a message of hope or freedom or anything really. They're just talking about how bad America is. But that's not good enough. So the Republicans slipping in the polls, they're failing. Their ads are absolute garbage compared to the Democrat ads. And now it has come to my attention that JD Vance paid a little visit to a donut shop in Georgia. And I don't really know what happened. Although the caption is, JD Vance had a very awkward visit to a donut shop in Georgia earlier. Trust us, it's worse than you even think. Okay. Should I be scared?
The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man? Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
What? This is worse than I was thinking it would be. Clearly the lady doesn't like him. It's also like she said, I don't want to be filmed. And he's like, okay, just cut her out of all that.
How long are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July.
Okay.
For this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah. I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. How long has this place been around?
About 4 years.
About 4 years? Okay. How long have you been here?
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good.
Actually, unironic Michael Scott vibes. Like, this is actually like how this feels like I'm watching a scene from The Office. How long you been working here? 6 months? Good. He's acting as if he's like this big celebrity that everyone's like, oh, when everyone else is just like, dude, can you like get the cameras out of here and just go away, please? Like, stop. I guess, what is he trying to do? Like, look how appealing I am to the middle class, everybody. Hi, I'm JD Vance. How long you been working here? How long you been working here, sir? The homeless guy outside begging for cash. Hi, I'm JD Vance. How long you been begging out here, sir? It's just like, you're not being relatable, bro. Also, that haircut from the back. Wait, where? Yeah, what happened there, dude? This man has a cliff on his scalp. And I think, yeah, the best bet for sure is that most likely the people at Great Clips fucking hate JD Vance also. That's the only explanation as to why they would ever cut the back of his hair like that.